Now moving on to the character menu is where things get very exciting. This is where your animation comes alive by helping your character act out everyday tasks. Things like answering a phone or running to an appointment or dancing the night away. After you've added the character through the design menu, when you click on that character, the design menu changes. Here you can change the character out with the replace button. This is nice because if you've already applied a motion, an action, or a specific timing to a character, you don't have to start over again if you decide to change out that character. The replace button will simply replace the character, but keep the settings you've already applied, like motion and movement and placement. So for example, if your character is running and jumping, you can change the character with the replace button, and that same character will continue to run and jump with the exact timings that you've set before. The action button is exactly that. What action do you want your character to do? All actions are based on categories to help narrow down the search. Daily life has some of the most common actions, and this includes video animation and still pictures. Click the play icon to get a preview and click apply if you like it. Now as you preview it, it will show the character performing that action. Notice how the character is walking angrily in one place. He will need some motion applied so that he's not walking in one place, but he's walking somewhere, and we'll do that in just a second. But first, let's change the expression of his face. You can select the facial expression button, and you can match that to the action, or you can choose entirely something else. Although he is walking angrily, we can change his expression to walk happily. Next is the dialogue button. This is where you can add voiceover from either your own recorded voice, some text-to-speech, or upload some already recorded dialogue. Click the Find Voice Talent and you'll be directed to some voice talent. I personally like voicetalentnow.com, simply because they have some good talent at a reasonable rate. One of the coolest features Vyond offers is to be able to apply dialogue to the character, and the character will lip sync what is being said, so it looks pretty real. Let me show you how. I'll click the dialogue button and choose the character I want to apply it to. I can write it out with text-to-speech, which you can choose different languages by the way, or I can record my own voice. Hello, full-time corporate trainers. As you can see, I'm pretty awesome and can lip sync what you say. Now sometimes you would rather upload a pre-recorded message, perhaps a professional voiceover, and that's not a problem. Go over to the design menu and click the upload button. Once it's uploaded, it will show up in your library. Click and drag the voiceover onto the audio timeline. Right-click the audio track and select Settings. Here you can choose what character you want to apply the audio track to and the volume level. Hello, full-time corporate trainers. As you can see, I'm pretty awesome and can lip sync what you say. Now, if you choose to record your own voice, I recommend purchasing an inexpensive microphone. Your computer or your laptop will likely have a microphone, but it won't sound as good. As you can tell, there's a real difference in a good audio versus poor audio, and I personally have had a lot of success using the Blue Snowball microphone, and it's not that expensive. When you select certain audio tracks and apply it to the character, sometimes you want the character to use gestures as they are talking, versus just speaking with no movement at all. So once you figure out what they're going to say, you can choose how they will say it. For example, instead of just talking with no movement, I'm going to apply a talking action with movement. I'll hit preview, and now your character isn't so boring. Hello, full-time corporate trainers. As you can see, I'm pretty awesome and can lip sync what you say. Let's say you want your character to walk and talk at the same time. This is where motion comes into play. I'll choose the action walking, then choose the motion path of where I want the character to go. I can choose a straight line, but there are other options for different characters or different props. make sure you adjust where you want the motion path to end. Now I'll preview it to see what it looks like. Hello full-time corporate trainers. As you can see, I can walk and talk at the same time. Amazing! There are other options for motion, but it depends on what you're trying to achieve. So for example, I might choose the bounce motion for a ball prop. I'll add the ball prop, apply motion to it, in this case the bounce motion, and set the start and end points for the ball. Then I'll preview it. Now you also have to think about how your character will enter the scene and exit the scene. Yes, the character can appear with no entrance effect, but sometimes it's nice to enter the scene with a little pizzazz. I can select the enter effect and preview the different enter options. Since we are doing a whiteboard animation, I like my characters to enter with a hand or pen drawing. Let me show you how. First, I'll choose enter effect, whiteboard animation, and pen only. Then I'll choose if I want the character to come into the scene delayed or how long the enter effect will take. I'll select 1 second delay and 2 seconds for the character to be drawn by the pen. The same can be applied to the exit effect. This time the ball is no longer needed, so I will apply the erase effect. Be sure to stay tuned for the end of this course as I will walk you through using these buttons to build an entire animation video. Now let's talk about the text menu. When you select text within the scene, the text menu has all the same buttons like the replace button, the enter and exit buttons, and the motion path button. The main difference here is you can change the font type, the size, and other styles. You can even go as far as adjust your paragraph alignment, the direction, the padding, and spacing. I urge you to become familiar with these settings and make adjustments to help the text look pleasing to the eye. Now the graph menu. Businesses love showing graphs and statistics. It helps us understand the progress we are making toward our goals and what areas we need to focus on. Whatever you're tracking, you can plug in your data in the graphics provided. You can even change the color perhaps to the company's colors, or the two big ones like red and black. Now once you've finished building out your story, the last thing to do is generate your video. Click the download button and it will give you some options to choose from. I like the full 1080p option, and Vyond will send you an email when the video is ready, but it usually is within the next 30 minutes if not sooner. Well, that's pretty much it. By now you have learned the different menus, how to build and tell your story, how to generate and share your video. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I would be glad to offer any assistance. Now, let's do a little job shadowing as I build a story from scratch with a great message about choosing your attitudes.